Hello people, welcome back. This is Vinchenz. As you can see here, we're going to take a bounty. It's an ERT, and it's over in the asteroids in yellow. So we've just jumped in here. We're 30k away from our target, and you can see we're on the dark side of a planet. Asteroids are pretty dark. Going to be a dangerous mission. So we're going to head in slowly and see what targets we've got. So our first target is a Taurus. We've got a Starfarer, a Redeemer, and a C2 Hercules. So these guys must have heard that there's a hardcore bounty hunter in town, because as I get closer to the asteroid, I realise they're all hiding behind it. So I pull up over the ridge and launch a surprise attack. We focus on the Redeemer straight away, and we try and get some good hits into him to get him on the run. But he then starts shooting back with his ballistic guns. We have a bit of a face-off, and then we both decide to blast out our separate ways. We put a bit of distance in between each other and then turn round to start the fight. Straight away the ballistic guns are coming in once again. Now we're in a bit of a slower ship, so we can't maneuver as fast as him, but what we do try and do is close the distance down on him as much as possible and not let him get too many volleys off on us. I'm also trying to keep the firepower on him as much as possible, just to stop him having an opportunity of just letting loose with his guns. So I'm sticking close to him, and this is a high priority target. I've got to get this guy down first. As you can see, my ship's already taking a beating to the front. Shields are taking a beating from all the other ships shooting us, but the actual Redeemer's bullets are getting straight through and hitting our ship directly. Luckily, we've got his shields down now. We've got one on the back down, and his side shield's just about to vanish. He looks like he's a bit out of control, but he's still in the fight. Now we managed to get a good line from behind. Shields are down at the back, and he's an easy target. So that's the first ship down. Now straight away the Taurus is there ready for us. So we start pounding into him. Now this fight does become a little bit annoying. He starts rubber banding all over the place. Anyway, so we keep trying to hit this ship. We nearly have a collision with him there. Eventually, we managed to get him down, no problem. So next, we try and get rid of the Starfarer. It doesn't take us long. Comes across the front of us now. Again, we get a good line from behind him. He's got no shields at the back. And down he goes. Nice explosion there, looking sick, the graphics. And finally, it's time for the one we're really interested in. The C2. He's sort of rubber banding a little bit, but not as much as the Taurus was. We lay off our fire, just start giving him a few blips. We get a good angle on the back of him. And he goes down pretty quick as well. So we're down to know what's inside the C2, so straight away we get the scanner up. As usual, the scanner bugs out, so we try and go around the back and get a scan directly on the cargo hold. We're at 250 meters. Scan should work. Starts going up nicely on the right there, but unfortunately jumps straight to the top, which basically gives us a null reading. So the only option is to jump out and have a look. Always excited when we're about to open a C2, and this time is no different. So we get to that button as quickly as we can. Then get ready to see what's inside. And straight away, I am excited. There's a few containers at the front which I don't even care about at this point, because all I can see in the back there is a lot of green containers. Those green containers, as we all know, are Weevil eggs. So I quickly rush back to my ship and prep it for loading. As usual, I've got some stuff on board. So I quickly toss that out the back to make room for the Weevil eggs. So while I'm doing this, I'm making calls out to my guild, and I'm requesting for some assistance and a pickup with the C2 Hercules. I chuck one small container of maize in my ship, and I empty all the other lower value drugs out to the side of the C2. I then whip out that container of maize that I just put in, thinking I'll put that in at the end when I've got room. Let's just see how much Weevil eggs we can get in there first. So as you can see there, there's at least 8 of those big 32 SCU containers. And basically they are 3.5 million AUEC each. So we load the first one in, get it to snap in and let go. Then we get a bit closer and make sure we push it all the way to the back so we don't waste room in the cargo hold. Quick check, and it's back to grab another container. So once again, I let it snap into the cargo hold. Get closer and just slowly feed it back to the maximum distance. Quick check, make sure they're both lined up, even. And now we think about trying to get one more of these containers in. I'm already pretty sure that it's not going to fit in, but we have a go anyway. It would be nice in this ship if you could stack another big container on top of the other ones, but it just doesn't seem to let you. Anyway, so we get that out and we just stabilize all the containers. And then we've made the call. We've got Purcell incoming in his C2. So now we quickly unload the ship just to see how much is in there. And we're hoping to find some slightly smaller valuable containers right at the back that I can fit in my ship to fill it up. So these are all 32 SCU massive containers. We just leave them out back, ready for when Purcell arrives. So this one's a little bit smaller and probably would fit in, and it is neon, so again I keep it to one side. But there we see there's another gasping Weevil eggs, a lot smaller than the other ones, and that'll definitely fit in my hold. more 32 SCU containers, and then you get to the small ones, which we can also take. So we line them up outside the ship, and they can go on top of our big containers in our ship. So once they're all out, it's time to sort of start sizing which ones will fit in. So we know the container of maize that we had before will go in. Found another little container of maize. So now we fill up with all the little containers. It's a mixture of neon, slam and other drugs. And then we sort of reorganize the cargo hold, put all the little ones up top. Because we realise we've got quite a few more that we want to put in there. So Purcell pulls up in the C2. And it's time we start loading up the big ship. I use the tractor pull thing to pull me into his ship because that's the best way to get in the back of the C2. And he's forgotten his tractor beam, so I drop one in his hold. Right, now we work together and we load up all the Weevil eggs. I'm lining them up for him and he can drag them in. We're being extra careful that we don't touch both the containers at the same time, the tractor beams, because recently there's been a bug. As soon as you both touch it, the container starts to feel like a lead weight. You can't manipulate it, and when you put it in your ship, it causes a nightmare with all the other containers. It just doesn't ever get fully settled into the cargo grid. So here I'm just grabbing all the containers that I threw out before, because we've still got space on the top of our ship. There's no point leaving them behind. Meanwhile, Purcell's filled up most of his ship with the Weevil eggs, and now it's time to get the less valuable drugs into the hold. So we get it loaded up nicely. I have to move this one a little bit over because there wasn't enough room for this final one. And this final one does cause a bit of a nightmare trying to slot it down that little gap. So I offer to give a hand. But just when I do, we both end up shooting that container, as you just saw, and suddenly the container's just not responding like it should. So we try and just get it out of the way to safety, and then we just leave it behind because we don't want any hassle or any problems with the Weevil eggs in the hold. So now it's time to get back in the ship, and we are going to set course to Wala. We're going to go and drop the drugs off at Samson and Sons. So we reverse away from the ship and nearly take out Purcell. And then we both set the jump coordinates to Wala. So first we jump to Auec. So he's just landed about 2 minutes before me because the place was clear. And now I just head in for a bit of backup and to sell all my cargo as well. But there's Purcell. This is Samson and Sons. So we pull up next to Purcell. He's seen that there's a few containers dotted about on the floor that he wants to pick up. I check around the ship and then hop out. I leg it over to the selling terminal. And we can get rid of 48 Weevil eggs for 5.264 million. Then we've got loads of other stuff to get rid of. All the little containers we put in the ship. There was a container of maize for nearly 1,880,000. And the other little things selling for 50, 60,000. Yeah, we've still got 32 SCU of Weevil eggs to get rid of, so we just hang around at Samson and Sons for a bit now. And as we're heading out to go to the ships, I hear this weird noise and Purcell face plants down the stairs. There's been some crazy bug that's just killed him on the stairs, and now he can't get up because he's got a dodgy leg. So he has to crawl all the way to his ship. Then he couldn't get on his lift, because it just wouldn't let him up onto the lift. So then I opened the ramp for him and watched him crawl up it while pissing myself. I quickly went and tried to sell my Weevil eggs, which luckily I could, no problem. So just before we parted ways, we quickly went back to a space station, and by this time Purcell's leg had recovered enough that he could walk a little bit, so he booked himself into room 3 at the medical centre. And before too long, he was right as rain. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, please subscribe, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video where we take out the Reclaimer for a bit of a spin. So until next time, take it easy.